Loyalty. Seriously, loyalty? Do you expect loyalty in any relationship? That's what I want to talk about today. So here's what's happening. I've been getting calls more and more about being laid off, looking at their future, looking to retire, change in plans, change in relationships. So the word that keeps hitting me is loyalty. Do you expect loyalty? My attorney would always tell me, Rock, don't expect loyalty. Expect litigation. And you know what? It's true. When attorneys put together a business contract or some type of an agreement, it's always about what could happen. In marriages, it's a prenup. How far does it get? It depends on how sophisticated you are. If you're marrying for love, you're marrying for companionship, what is it? It changes. Just like relationships change every day. What about your kids? What about your families? So today I took my walk and I started thinking about loyalty. And you're going to be hearing more about it. About loyalty. We call it the loyalty trap. Because there's so many people that were raised to be honest people, committed people, dedicated people. It's pretty much standard now that you're going to change your career many times. You might change your spouse many times, your relationships, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about your faith. And I'm big on having a faith, a strong faith, because I know it's never going to change. Because I'm a person that pretty much is loyal. And that's why I've been hurt so many times in my life, in my career, in relationships and so on. But I'm not blaming anyone. I have no regrets. It's that I'm learning now. These are all lessons learned. So when I hear the word loyalty, it's valuable, don't get me wrong. But you could take it to an extreme also where you get really hurt and you're betrayed. And that's painful. So the person you need to be loyal to is your God and yourself. Okay? So it all comes back to knowing your value. Because when I hear people getting laid off or terminated or let go, whatever term you want to use, it's personal. It's not business. It's business to the employer, but it's personal to the person. I've seen people in their 60s and 70s cry because they've never thought it would happen to them. But to me, I've always had change. Everything I do is about change as I get older, and I plan it. I have an exit plan. I have a succession plan. I have a death plan. I have a estate plan. I have a kid's plan, a grandchildren's plan. Yeah. Why? Because I've lived long enough that I realize I need it. So loyalty, you could respect people, you could be kind to people, but understand this about loyalty and about yourself. You need to stay in your own lane. And when businesses decide to lay you off, there's only two things that they're looking at. What value do you bring to the company in revenue? That means sales. How have you grown the company? Do you expect to grow the company? And the second item is, how do you save money through solutions, through innovation? But one thing I've learned is you're basically, it's a gig. Don't consider it employment. Consider it a project by project. And to me, it's all a learning experience, because you could fail at a project for whatever reason. Didn't work out. Take it at that, but you got to keep continuing improving your life, improving your relationships, improving your marriage, whatever it is. And that's the other thing that I notice people don't do is you have to bring in the family. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to share with your kids and your spouse the pain that you're going through. Or a network. I've always networked in my life. I've always had mentors. I've cried in front of people. I've always had some type of therapist, to help me get through the pain, because sometimes you really can't share it with anybody else, especially if you're an employer. The hardest thing to do is to let people go, because at the end of the day, it's about finance. It's about finance. And this is the fourth quarter, and these are the biggest decisions. And you, as an individual, should be looking at your personal career, your personal value. So be positive. A lot of it's in the mindset, but you really need people to share your pain with. That's where mentorship comes in. That's where baby steps comes in. Discipline, perseverance. Some people get tired. They get depressed. They give up. You can do that. Those are all your choices. But you're not going to be a happy person. You're not going to be a happy person. You make yourself happy. You find your purpose. Try to find your purpose as soon as possible. And you will have positive responses from others because you're a happy person. So think about that loyalty. Think about if you're at a company 20 years, 30 years, and so on. And the reason why I know this is because I got family members going through it. But I've been independent, a non-employee since 1993. And I bounced around a lot, looking for gigs, looking for projects that really challenge me. But I also want to bring in success stories. Success stories. But once a project is complete, I could move on. And I'm fulfilled. And that lesson, I could duplicate down the road because I see a lot of the situations. And I really look at the 3 T's, which I call the 3 T's. And that's trust in myself, trust in who I'm working with, making sure, number 2, everything is transparent. It's honest, it's open, the facts. And then the timeline. How much time do we have? Are you going to go out of business within a year? You need cash flow? How do I generate more cash quickly? You might have to go out and hire somebody. And I always hear about salespeople. They're difficult to work with or whatever. No, that's not true. It's usually the opposite. Sales people are the easiest people to work with because they're out there promoting. They're promoting, and you have to really make sure that they are happy with your product their purpose, they're committed to it, they're committed to the organization, but that means you as the employer also has to be committed. One thing that happens in the private industry is the financials aren't shared. I believe that you need to share your financials with the people so they know the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because if anybody's going to fix it, it's the people. And I always said to myself, Rock, you're not the smartest guy in the room. You're the oldest guy in the room. And I was proud of that because I would listen. I would see. And I would observe who the team players are. How do I know about team play? Playing sports. To me, business is a game. And that's all you're doing. It's playing a game. And you're picking your team. And you're trying to get the best of the best to grow your business. So what do you need to be? The employer should be loyal. It should hurt when you let people go. It should hurt bad. And believe me, I've laid off people because I needed to. And I would shut my door and cry. It's all in my book. There's a story there. Because within months, the company I was at back in the 80s, we laid off about 125 employees over a few months. That's painful. And I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and that was my responsibility, is to let people go. We had to pick and choose our future. And it all started with the right people. Just like a football team, a baseball team, they pick the best of the best, and then you got utility. But you work, you have the chemistry to work to be successful as a team. So loyalty means a lot to a lot of different people. They say you have to earn it. You're going to know when you're loyal to somebody. And you're going to surely find out when somebody's not loyal to you. So that's my message today, is the loyalty trap. Understand it. So I'll leave you with, know your value. Stay the course. And make sure you pick the right horse. I'll talk to you soon.